Good afternoon, sports fans, and welcome to Full Count SportsMemo's MLB betting coverage show. We're going to be covering postseason baseball. See, I changed my script. Postseason baseball with some of the best handicappers, analysts, columnists, and sports bettors on the planet. We'll be giving out free picks on several games for both today's and tomorrow's cards, as well as some NLCS series opinions, and plenty of time for you to get down those picks. I'm your host, world champion handicapper in Vegas' biggest daily sports bettor, Joe D'Amico. And joining me, guys, we got a great panel. It is Monday, but we're kicking off the week. Oh, my goodness, it's like sweeps week with two All-Stars. The Iceman cometh, Jesse Schule, and the doctor making a house called Dr. Chuck. Let me start with Jesse. Jesse, good afternoon. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Joe. I'm doing great.
Always good to share a panel with Jesse. I shared the first family panel with him this morning. Had a lot of laughs, had some great content. Always love Jesse, as entertaining as he is, informative. And, guys, it's always a treat when I get to share a panel with Dr. Chuck, and I actually include his best bet play. My good friend Dr. Chuck is making a house call today. Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Well, I'm looking more forward to going to Chiang Mai and getting some of that chimichurri ribeye, honestly. But I think maybe we were talking off air. Maybe we're on to something, and maybe I'll just, spout out my best bet. But it was such an easy winner that maybe we're on to something, and we just kind of eliminate that until the comments, right?
Gotta love when he makes a house call on any show here on SportsMemo TV. The doctor is in, Dr. Chuck. Guys, before we give it out today's free winners, a few announcements. You know, it's Monday, and you know what that means. Over at SportsMemo, $9 Mondays. It's amazing, guys. After the show, go over to SportsMemo. Your favorite capper or cappers have plays up for just $9. And, you know, I know this is a baseball show, but we can't not bring it up. Tomorrow, NBA tips off the regular season. And you know what? The customer appreciation over at SportsMemo, unrivaled. Any capper or cappers, 7-day NBA package is $49, $7 a day. You can't beat that with a bat. That's my baseball full count reference, guys. You can use this as many times as you want, but use it quickly. I'll tell you why. Because it expires on Sunday. You've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 7 days. Your favorite capper or capper is $49. Tip off the season right on a high note. Now, having said all that, guys, one more thing. Every day you must go check out the deals page. There are times that even us, the cappers, don't even know we have a special deal up. And, guys, like I said, the customer appreciation you receive at SportsMemo is unrivaled. So check out that deals page each and every day. Doesn't get bigger or better than customer appreciation at SportsMemo. Let's get right into our first of 3 roundtable games or series opinions. So our first is going to be a game going off tonight, guys. Guardians, Yankees, Game 5. Doesn't get better than the final gave them a series, you know. And these two teams, you know, there's no love lost between Cleveland and New York. This rivalry goes back many, many, many years. Cleveland's a very good team. They played well. They took games 2 and 3. Yankees took game 4 to force a game 5. This is going to be a great game 5, guys. Let's go to the doctor himself making a house call, Dr. Chuck. Give us your opinion on this game.
Yeah, I know this game is near and dear to your heart, Joe, and I don't think you're going to chime in specifically, but maybe you'll give some of your thoughts. I almost wish we had a fourth guest or a third guest, a fourth person on here, and we could see if Jeff, is going to. I'm sorry, that's on my end, but obviously Jeff and Joe have sparred back and forth, and we finally get a series that goes the distance as the Phillies and Padres completed extreme upsets, or maybe not extreme upsets, but pretty solid upsets. And the Astros and Mariners played enough innings to play 4 games, but the Astros did sweep. So finally we get a game here. Really solid pitching matchup so far. Even in that 6-5 game, you know, it came down to a bottom of the 9th inning hit. Much like happens with these tight series in the 5th game, you don't get these Bieber-Cole matchups, unfortunately. You get Jameson Taillon and Aaron Savali, and I like them both, honestly. But it's not that marquee Game 5 winner-take-all spot. I think that all the pressure, you know, I hate to say this, Joe, but all the pressure's on the Yankees. I know they got here. I know that it wasn't the Guardians winning the game last night to get to this spot. The Guardians had their chance to clinch on their home field. I think this line's pretty dead on where I would have personally, I'm not going to be playing on the side. I would have no ability to stomach taking the Yankees here. I'm afraid that they could be tight. The Guardians have a really deep bullpen. They're scrappy. They don't have the names. I mean, the Yankees have done so many things right throughout the year. They even traded, I can't even believe they traded Jordan Montgomery. And now Harrison Bader is one of the most important pieces in this ALDS. And he's going to be batting in the middle of this lineup, just crushing things left and right. At that 7.5, I'm excited to hear what Jesse thinks about that, because I know he has an idea on the first 5. I would probably be maybe contrarian-esque all over that first 5 under spot. I like a couple of player props tonight. I'd probably at 7.5 want to see if it could squeeze to an 8, because it's a standalone baseball game and get an under 8. I'd probably still be under the 7.5. I think 4-2, something like last night, is what this looks like. A lot more than a back and forth scoring fest. 6-5, I think, some of the props are speaking to, and some of the numbers speak to the fact that this is going to be tight. It's Tito versus Boone. It's going to be the overthinking pitching matchups, and I would lean towards favoring the pitching side of it rather than the hitting, especially as a team. But I'm just excited that we finally got a Game 5. I'm hoping that some of these next series, and if you were telling me I needed to pick a team here, I'm taking the road team to probably move to the ALCS on the Yankees home field here.
Well, sports fans, Dr. Chuck, who's doing some great work over at SportsMemo, and he will never be on another show that I host again because he's going again. No, I'm just kidding.
I was a little nervous about that.
That's okay. Listen, Dr. Chuck, I love you. I love you. I love your breakdowns. I love your opinions. I know everybody does out there. Guys, he says if he was hard-pressed, he'd take Cleveland, less pressure on them, but he does like first 5 under. Doc, and one thing I've got to say, I'm not going to chime in on any of these roundtable games. You squeeze a lump of coal, it turns into a diamond. That's what pressure is. And it's no coincidence that we're talking about pressure and things turning into a diamond. And I'll tell you what, nobody's ever had more pressure on them than the New York Yankees. You know why we didn't win the last few years? We had no more room in our trophy case. We took a little time off. We had to build a bigger trophy case. I'm not going to get into it about this game. My heart and soul is New York. I didn't even put this game up today, but I think you guys all know who I like. I don't want to jinx my Yankees tonight. Dr. Chuck, great stuff. Guys, and by the way, we did get you, Dr. Chuck. We will get to his best bet today. So an inside joke here. We're going to go to Jesse Schule, who's doing some great work. He did not go perfect this past weekend, but he was damn close on the gridiron. So he almost wore his yellow outfit today. But Jesse's doing great work as well. Jesse, let's get your take on this Game 5. Cleveland, New York. Yankees are $1.50, 7.5 under 120. It's all you.
Well, I agree with some of what Dr. Chuck said, and not everything he said. I guess we look at the, like he said, the pitching matchup here isn't what you'd expect from a do-or-die game. I mean, neither of these guys are really the guy that these teams want going in a do-or-die game. Tylon, though, has the better body of work throughout the season, in my opinion. He was very good at home. He only pitched 1 game against Cleveland. He was very good against them. The same cannot be said for Savale. While he finished the season strong, he was very, very poor against the Yankees, 0-2 with an ERA of 10. Most of that damage coming in one short outing at the Bronx, 6 runs, 7 hits in just 3 innings. Not good numbers on the road, 1-3, 5.88 ERA. Looking at Anthony Rizzo, 5 for 10 lifetime, with a pair of long balls against Savale. And Rizzo has 4 hits in the series in 4 games. There is player props out there for him to get a hit. Perhaps a home run wouldn't be too bad either, although it didn't seem like they were paying a ton for that. But, I mean, and then you got Tylon, on the other hand, who made 1 appearance in this series already and got blasted and didn't get any outs and gave up a couple runs on 3 hits. I'm inclined to forgive him for that and feel comfortable that he can bounce back from that. Whereas Savale, if you look at the entire body of work for the whole season, he was not great. He had his moments, but he had more losses than wins. ERA on the high side, situationally not good on the road, situationally not good against the Yankees. So for me, the price being as it is, $150 with the Yankees, that price has come down a lot. You wouldn't expect a price like that to bet on the Yankees at home throughout the regular season. Of course, it's a different situation, but I don't think there's much value going against them here. And I guess Savale is probably not going to go that deep. I mean, as soon as he gets in a little bit of trouble, he's probably going to get the hook as well. But I think of the two starters, Tylon's got the more of the ability to throw 7 innings of solid ball and carry the Yankees to victory. So I would lean on the Yankees, and I would lean on them for the first 5 innings as well.
Jesse Schule doing some great work on the gridiron. Mr. Perfect says he puts a lean on the Yankees, puts a lean on them in the first 5 as well. Well, Jesse, obviously you're welcome anytime.
He just wants to not get kicked off the show.
I just joke, guys. Listen.
Well, you saw that steak he posted. I want some of that steak. That's what I want.
I want you guys to know that here at Sports Memo, and because I do a lot of the hosting on the Sports Memo TV, I don't want cookie cutters or people to agree or this. I want people to be themselves. And, we do that on the First Family Show in the morning. Guys, come on, man. They just totally let it all hang out. We're a little more regimented on the MLB and the college and pro football shows that we do. I love the fact that Dr. Chuck is on the opposite side. I love the fact that Jesse likes the Yankees, because I got to tell you, Jesse hates the Yankees. He had to bite his tongue in his entire analysis, I'll tell you that. But that's what you're going to get here at Sports Memo TV. You're going to get the best cappers giving you their personal angles, not cookie cutouts, not guys that are on the grain, against the grain. I love it. I love it. I love it. Our first round, we got 2 more rounds to go. Then we're going to go through our best bet segment. Guys, our second roundtable game is actually, we're going to go to a series. We're going to look at the series on the NLCS, Philly and San Diego. This is an interesting matchup. Not many out there really thought that Philly and San Diego will be representing the National League in the pennant come in another week or so. These are 2 teams that, let's face it, they beat teams that on paper were heavily favored over them in the last round. But this makes for good baseball. And also tells you, in the short series, anything can happen. Philly, San Diego, we're going to talk about the series. The Padres are $1.25. Phillies take back $1. Let's start this round with, we started with Dr. Chuck last round. Let's go to Jesse Schule. Jesse, give us your take on the series here.
Well, I think you might be concerned about the Padres having a bit of a letdown in game 1, coming off that amazing upset against the Dodgers. Everybody thought the Dodgers were going to move on, win the World Series this year. And for the Padres to take them down, I'm not sure that they're not going to be in a letdown spot here. I know that you could say the same thing about the Braves, but I think the Braves have had more time to come to terms with it. And the Padres, the Phillies taking out the Braves. But there's been more time for that to settle. And I don't think the Braves they're not in that same stature as the Dodgers were this season. So, no, I kind of like the Phillies to shock them in game 1. I'm not sure that the Phillies have the pitching staff to match up against them for the entire series. However, once you get past Wheeler and Nola, I'm not sure that they match up well against the rest of the Padres rotation. But I might look at the Phillies as a dog in game 1.
So we were talking the series. Jesse says he got a lean if he had to on the opposite side, but Phillies game 1. I'm just flabbergasted that Jesse's wearing a Southie P cap from Boston, looking sharp, sporting it well. Great stuff from Jesse, and forgive him a slip of the lip. Jesse, what time is it in Southeast Asia?
I swear this is coffee, but it is 2 a.m.
It's 2 a.m. and he's done a bunch of shows today. Jesse does great work and great stuff, great breakdown, great analysis. What we come to expect from you, Jesse. Let's go to one of the sharpest minds in sports betting today. Granted, it's not 2 a.m. in Ohio, but in defense of Dr. Chuck, Jesse doesn't have 14 children. Dr. Chuck does. I love Dr. Chuck with all my heart, guys. He does great work at Sports Memo. And guys, I got to tell you, he's a trooper too. He does a lot of these shows, busts his butt for us, and he fills in quite a bit, and he does amazing work for you. And he's all over the 3, the 7, and the 30-day leaderboards at Sports Memo. Let's go to Dr. Chuck. Give us your take on this series, Doc.
I'm sure it'll be a quick joke at one of the shows this week that I'm off the rest of the week because I'm having another kid, but it's not true. So I promise that that's not the case. But I just right off the bat, I'm just going to tell you that I have a play on the Phillies to win the series. I also have a play on the Phillies to win the series in 6 games. I don't necessarily think I like the Padres pitching staff better. I don't necessarily know if that matters, but so much of this series is fascinating to me. I find some of the things that are just amazing is Manny Machado and Bryce Harper both were on the free agent market in 2019. Both players were rumored to be for each of these teams. They both landed on the teams they're on, and now they're facing off against each other, signing very similar contracts and putting up almost identical numbers. It's kind of amazing. They are within 5 home runs of each other. They're within 30 RBIs of each other. They're both batting about 300, and they've played just about the same amount of games. And Manny Machado's F-WAR is about 16, and Bryce Harper's F-WAR is about 15. Not a whole lot of guys that have done better since 2019, other than your Judges and your Trouts and Goldies and things like that. And so it's kind of fascinating. Manny Machado's in the running for MVP this season. If it weren't for those 2 Cardinal guys, Bryce Harper won it last season. Blake Snell Bryce Harper hasn't seen Blake Snell. Blake Snell hasn't seen Bryce Harper since he eliminated him from the MVP race, and the middle of the Phillies season was changed forever. There's no Tatis here. Juan Soto knows the Phillies really well and now plays for the Padres. I just love everything about this. Unfortunately, so we're talking series. We're going to talk game next. We don't know how the Phillies are going to line this up. Things worked really well for interim managers that then became full-time managers. And Rob Thompson is the top of the list here and deserved that extension. I'm back in this team. There's something, this juju of Kyle Schwarber in the playoffs here. The dude's only played 8 seasons, and he is a playoff beast. I like Harper to get a little bit of the edge on Machado. I think Nola and Wheeler as a combination are slightly greater than Darvish and Snell. Musgrove is obviously going to be greater than Ranger Suarez if that's how they go. And then once we get to a 4th game, it's going to be interesting as to whether or not the Phillies go bullpen or how they go about it. But I think the price on the series speaks for itself. Nobody, we're supposed to say this on these shows. Nobody expected this to happen. Well, I mean, if you follow me, you knew I had the Phillies to beat the Braves in the series in most of the games, and we had the Padres to win twice. I did think that the Dodgers would prevail. I didn't know that there would be so few runs. I think it's going to be interesting to look at the over-under total for each game. I think they're already hanging a 6.5, and we don't even know the Phillies starter. And I think that is presuming a lot about what we just saw in the Padres-Dodgers series, but not the Phillies series, because unless you really are bearish on the Braves rotation, then you realize the Phillies are hot with the bats. And I don't think that is exempt from Yu Darvish, who can put up a lot of walks, or Blake Snell, who can also put up a lot of walks and get to the bullpen. There's also that at the end of the game, Josh Hader has looked unbelievably better. But the Phillies were the team that broke him. And if he hadn't been broken in the way he was broken and dropped down for the whole middle of that season by the Phillies in the 9th inning of a couple of games in July, he might not even have been traded. So I think there's so many stories that are phenomenal here. And I think with such an even series, I think you're getting an even price like 100. I wouldn't want to lay something in this. And so that's part of the reason I like the value on it. I can't wait to hear what others say, especially Joe and his best bet, because like he said, I want to hear, I don't want to do this just to be right. I want to do this to hear what other people have to say that are smarter than me or have different opinions and ways to go about it. But I would just have a hard time with the way that the Phillies played, even starting on the road, which I think is a boon to their chances, taking them at plus money. And I also don't think, Jesse brought this up for game 1. I don't know if you're going to get a better price than plus 100 today, just in case of what happens tomorrow. I think this is the best price you're going to get on the Phillies.
Great stuff from one of the sharpest minds in sports betting today. I love Dr. Chuck's breakdown and analysis. And guys, he does this without a net. I mean, he does this without notes. I got more notes here than it's crazy. I got tons of notes. I love it. By the way, the First Lady of Las Vegas is chiming in. 3 of my favorite guys love the show. Wait a minute. He's down low. What do you mean 3 of your favorites? I don't like this. We're going to need a divorce lawyer after the show. I'll tell you what. She knows where all the money and the bodies are buried. She knows where all the money is and the bodies are buried. Guys, Dr. Chuck, great stuff. I love it. And Dr. Chuck's breakdown and his analysis is just, it amazes me. And I've worked over the years with everybody. I put him right up there with everyone. Great stuff, Dr. Chuck. Thank you. I will disagree with you later, but that's fine. Let's go into game 1 specifically. Our third round table breakdown, specifically game 1. All right, tomorrow night, 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Padres currently 125, 6.5 over 120. Please remember that we're going to put this up and our clips up between now and tomorrow at game time. If the line moves, don't We understand that. But right now, currently, Padres 125, 6.5 over, minus 120. Let's start with the man making a household today. And by the way, he said, a guy with a medical degree, I went to medical school, says, I'm smart. I love it. I send a lot of work his way, by the way. I send a lot of work over the years his way. I was a collector back in New York. My good friend, Dr. Chuck, is going to tell you about specifically game 1, Phillies Padres. Doc, I know you. I can't wait. I'm on pins and needles.
So both of us, obviously all three of us have talked a little bit about this series now. And so we kind of know where we're at on it. And I'm kind of in lockstep with Jesse. I don't like the way Melvin's rotation sets up. And that doesn't mean, luckily, we're back to 7-game series. And so I'm glad. I know that people want less baseball. Everybody wants less baseball. Well, the three of us don't want less baseball. And I hate that the division series are 5-game series. I hate it. I can't believe that the NBA forces us to watch the 8 seed play the 1 seed in a 7-game series, and we can't get the Padres and Dodgers to play a 7-game series. But that's besides the fact. I am all over, just right off the bat, I'm all over this over. I would have played over if it was 7.5. I love the fact that both these teams can manufacture runs. I trust Bob Melvin more than most any manager out there. I know that he still isn't working. It's interesting that this is a team without the guy a lot of people consider the best player in baseball. And it's fascinating that there's 3 players on one team. One's missing, but the other 2 could easily be the top 2 players in baseball. Respect to Aaron Judge, but he does strike out a lot. But I don't know how you pick a side with this line, because this line, similar to the series, is pretty dead to me. But that 6.5 is juicy. I think Darvish could give up 3 himself. I don't know which way the Phillies are going to go. If it's Wheeler, I like it even more. If it's Nola, I like it less. There's a lot of familial interest in this series with the Nolas, and there's 2 Nola brothers that will play, in this series. I would hurry to get this 6.5. I don't think that it goes past 7, but I don't think that it lasts a 6.5 longer than this. And I just think it's similar to the way that we played a lot of the games in the last series. We're talking a 7th inning and it's 3-3, and you've already cashed a ticket and you can just watch and enjoy the rest of the game. That's where I'd be here. I really want to know who's pitching for the Phillies to go further, but I will have player props up as well as telling you that right now I'm already putting out the over 6.5 in this first game.
Great stuff from Dr. Chuck. He says over, guys. Guys, by the way, what other baseball handicapping show can we hear words like juicy, inexplicable, and maybe even get Jesse Schule to say Tagovailoa just once? Guys, great stuff from Dr. Chuck. I love him. You love him. It just amazes me. He needs to know a little bit more about starting pitchers, and I love that. I respect that, Dr. Chuck. Thank you very much. Let's go to Jesse the Body Schule. All right. Oh, wait. Phillies, Padres game fans need to bring their gloves because it's coming. Raven Ron, we love you. He tunes into all of our SportsMemo TV stuff. You're the best, Raven Ron. We love you. Guys, let's go to Jesse the Body Schule. Jesse, are you as juicy as Dr. Chuck? Take it away, buddy.
Well, Joe, stylistically, I think this would be a far more interesting series if Wheeler gets the nod in game 1. But I want to ask you guys, can we see a guy can you get a starter that's going to pitch 3 times in a 7-game series? And if that's the case, shouldn't it be Wheeler? I want to see Wheeler go in game 1. He did toss 7 scoreless innings, striking out 9 against the Padres this season. I think he's their guy. Why not ride him? I'd like to see him attempt to go 3 times. I know we haven't seen that for a while, but what do you guys think? Is that even possible?
Well, I can tell you this. I know if this was 25 or 30 years ago, hell, that was a big difference, man. I'm a Yankee fan. I'll always bring up the Yankees because, I live in New York. I used to see Gitry pitch 3 times in 6 days. It was amazing how they burned out a 160-pound guy that could throw 98 miles an hour, who, by the way, won 5 straight gold gloves because he had the best delivery I've ever seen. But, no, it's amazing. I don't know if you're going to see that today. What bothers me, and I don't want to go off rant because we know that Joey never goes off rant, but what bothers me is certain coaches, certain managers that pitch count out, this out, that out. Horse bunk, guys. You got a guy in the groove, you keep him in there. You got a guy not doing well, and when crunch time, you pull him out. That's how it is. That's how it is, all right? This isn't the second week of the season where you're looking to see what a guy has after he gives up 2 home runs back-to-back. This is crunch time. You yank a guy when he's doing crappy. You keep a guy in when he's in the groove. That's it, period. It's the same thing in the NFL with a quarterback. You know, you got guys that look at stats and this and that. Well, games are – I understand the stats and the trends. Games aren't won on paper. They're won on a diamond. They're won on a gridiron. They're won on a hard court, and that's what it is. And if a guy's in a groove, you know, you might have a bench player come off the bench in the NBA and hit and make 3-4 3-pointers in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes. You don't yank him because your star wants to come in. I don't care how much LeBron is making. You keep that guy in, and that's the same thing that goes with baseball. And Jesse, I'll tell you right now, if this was 25, 30, 35 years ago, you would see the same pitcher pitch 3 times in a friggin' series. Now, these managers, let me tell you, and I get there's a science to it. I get it all. But you know what? It's about a groove and how a guy is doing. And if you got a guy pitching well, you leave him in there. Hell, I'll keep him in there in a doubleheader if I had to. I don't care. That's just my point. I'm telling you right now. Go ahead, Chuck. Dr. Chuck, please.
No, and I mean, I think all 3 of us, we couldn't possibly agree more with what you just said. But we kind of have to cap knowing that that's probably not the case.
Yeah.
Like, I think we have this to look forward to, because I do think that I bet you Dusty has this in store for Verlander, but those 2 are different types of people. But we also don't know. We don't know what the Phillies manager's looking to do with this. We don't know if he's old school. We don't know anything about that. But yeah, I mean, so much of what you said is just ridiculous. This magic number of 100 is Looney Tunes. And you've talked a lot about how the Dodgers title doesn't even hold up. No. And they talked a lot about the other night that when Cash pulled Snell in that game, that's another reason that the Rays think that they probably should have won the series. And the guys are being pulled too early. Is that going to happen with these 2 managers? I'm not certain. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Ride them if they're – and that's what's silly too, is these guys that are getting pulled because they give up a 2-run home run and now the bases are empty. That's to me that's a reason to keep the guy in the game.
Yes.
And so I don't know. I'm with you, and I wish we could see – I would love to see a Nola or a Wheeler in 1-4-7. I think that's brilliant, and I miss those days. And I mean, Joe probably remembers this more than anything, when Schilling and Johnson pitched like I think every inning of all 7 games of that 0-1 series, and no one cared about that, and his team lost. But you know, I mean, they didn't care about it then, and that wasn't even 25 years ago, like you said. So I wish we could go back to realizing that these people aren't all that different than the people that used to play baseball.
You know, Dr.
Well, Mad Bum did it just about 6, 8 years ago.
Yeah, 14, yeah, 15, yeah.
Now, Jesse and Dr. Chuck, this will appeal to all our viewers as well. I think a lot along the lines, a lot of the managers in baseball today are like the sportsbook directors in Vegas today. When I came to Vegas, I'm sorry, Chris, I know I'm ranting. When I came to Vegas, we had a guy named Gene Mayday. He was the next bookmaker from Kansas City. He owned a little place called Little Caesars. He don't care what you had. You can come in with a suitcase. I want $1 million on the Yankees, and I'll take it. You know what Gene said to me once? He said, Joe, if I win it, I win it. If I lose it, I'll get it back tenfold in publicity. What do I give a darn? Let me tell you something. A lot of these sportsbook managers today, let me call. What do you got to call for? Take the friggin' bet. It's the same thing with these managers. They're afraid to make the wrong call. You're a baseball guy. You played baseball from Pop Warner straight on through. You played major leagues. You got the experience. You're running a team. There's only X amount of guys that can ever say they ran a baseball team, and they're afraid to make the wrong decision. Don't be afraid to lose. Go out there, be aggressive to win. It pisses me off. It really does. I got to yank this guy up. Pitch count. Let me check the pitch count. You know what? I would have loved to see Sparky Anderson or Billy Martin be told from above, guys, yank him. He's got 100 pitchers. You would have literally saw Billy Martin give the finger up to the box. Same thing with Sparky Anderson. These guys were managers. They knew their plays. They knew the game, and they knew the feel of the game because they lived it, they breathed it, they lived and died it. And that's all I got to say about that. Forrest Gump, I love you. Guys, don't go anywhere. The most exciting portion of the show, our best bet. We did do the best bet segment. I didn't miss anybody on the best bet segment, right, today, Chris?
Not yet.
By the way, Chris, our producer, he's backstage. He looks like Richard Simmons. He's doing aerobics back there. He's going up and down. He's stretching. He's freaking me out. He's got the same red and white outfit that Simmons used to wear with the headband, too. I love you, Chris. You're the best. Guys, our best bet segment, we're going to start off with Jesse Schule. And I know that this is a baseball show, But in my 17 years documented, in my 43 years doing this, I have never seen somebody start off a football season as hot as Jesse Schule. He is killing it. He's going to be wanted by the FBI for killing bookmakers across this land. On top of that, every year, Jesse does this to me. Now, guys, every year, I'll tell you about this in a minute, but this is Jesse's segment. Every year, I kill it in basketball and NBA and college basketball. But Jesse's always on those leaderboards. And I know I got to get up even earlier because I got to compete with guys like Jesse. Basketball season's coming. Hockey's upon us. Full swing, college and pro football. Guys, it doesn't get better than this. Jesse Schule is a winner. He's going to tell you what he's been doing. He's going to tell you what he's about to do on the premium side. And he's got a best bet for you. I'm revved up right now. I'm excited. Chris is doing aerobics. He looks good in that red and white jumpsuit. Let's take it away, Jesse Schule. Give us your best bet, please.
Well, Joe, a lot of people are asking me how I do it because I've never had a football season like this either. We're sitting here getting ready for week 7, and I'm still hitting 80% for the season combined with college and NFL. But when people ask me how I do it, you know what I tell them? I say the only thing different about this year and previous years is I'm doing these shows with people like you and Dr. Chuck. And additionally, I'm watching other people's shows on the Wager Talk Network, Teddy Covers, Marco D'Angelo, Ralph Michaels. And, I don't agree with what you guys say and what they all say, but occasionally I get some really good information, and I think I'm a better handicapper because of it. So that's really the only thing that's different about previous seasons. So that's what I got to say about that. Anyways, best bets. I like your New York Yankees, and I like them for 5 innings because I don't like Aaron Savale. I don't like his numbers. Pressure, I think he's under pressure. I don't think he's the guy that Cleveland would want with their season on the line. Jameson Tylon might not be the Yankees ace, but he's a capable pitcher. He's got some good numbers. I think he's the better man for the job today. So I like the Yankees for the first 5.
Great stuff from Jesse Schule, guys. He is absolutely amazing. Our buddy Jesse Schule. And like I said, I love Jesse. He said Yankees first 5. Thank you, Jesse. Always entertaining and as you are informative. Guys, Jesse Schule is amazing. And Jesse, just to let you know, you're only the best when you go up against the best. And we have the best cappers in the world here at SportsMemo on our brother's site, Wager Talk. I'm always going to be partial to our site because I love the guys here, and I've grown to really love you guys with all of my heart working with you, and I bring it every day. You know why? And I'm get revved up because I go up against the best. And if you can't get excited going up against the best, then you shouldn't be in this business. That's why I love Jesse and Chuck and the other great cappers we have here at SportsMemo because they're the best in the business. After the show, go follow Jesse. You're going to follow him to the bank. Speaking of banks, I'm going to tell you right now, he's killing them. He's a doctor. He's killing bookmakers. Then they bring him in the ER, and he patches them up, sends them back in the world. Dr. Chuck, 3-day, 7-day, 30-day leaderboard fixture at SportsMemo. Don't believe me? I'm full of bug. Go check it out yourself. His name should be crazy glued on those 3 friggin' leaderboards. He is killing it. He's going to tell you what he's been doing, what he's going to do, and he's got a free best bet. Dr. Chuck, the OR is all yours.
The OR. All right. Well, let's focus on. We'll start off just focusing on baseball. There's a lot of different angles to attack, and I wanted it to be today. I could give you Philly series. I could give you some interesting props. There's a lot of same game parlays out there for those of you that like the big scores that are pretty interesting. But the only thing that's going to stop Jameson Taillon tonight from striking out 4 guys is that the weather is so terrible in the Bronx today. From 7 to 9, I know we're getting about 100% chance of rain, so I'm hoping it's light. I'm hoping that it's limited on delays. I love betting unders in delays, but it's not good when you're betting a pitcher prop necessarily. I think we can get enough that this is pretty low-hanging fruit. I guess it's only this low because I guess the books are pretty trusting that the Guardians aren't going to strike out very much, that they have been putting bat on ball pretty well, and that Taillon maybe is on a really short leash from Aaron Boone. I hope it's a lot more like Joe and Jesse said, and that he could easily go 6 or 7 innings. If he goes 6 or 7 innings, then this is a 6 or 7K prop. I don't understand why it's this far plus money. Ahmed Rosario, it strikes out half of the time, and Jimenez strikes out 75% of the time just against Taillon. If he gets to Miles Straw is always good for a strikeout. I mean, we're talking, I'm naming singular guys because this is a 4K prop. This is over 3.5. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. His last 3 outings straight up, doesn't matter if it was the Guardians or not, doesn't matter to me. We're 6.56. I just, this is a pretty tight spot. I did say that all the pressure was on the Yankees, but that's more as the game goes on, as I think. As a close game goes on, that's more on the Yankees at that point. At the beginning, I think there's a lot of onus on the Guardians to put the Yankees even more into a hole. I think that makes them a little bit tight. I think he might have 3 strikeouts after the first 2 innings, and that is a conservative guess, I think. So I don't understand it. Sometimes it worries me when I don't understand it, but in this case, I think it's just a low liability prop. I don't think anybody's looking at this. I think you really should, and you could probably play this for him to have 5 Ks at 3-1.
Great stuff from Dr. Chuck, guys. He says, tail on. He says over 4Ks. Great stuff. Great stuff. Dr. Chuck is a winner. He is on the 3, the 7, and the 30-day leaderboards at Sports Memo, guys. And numbers do not lie. I love him. You love him, guys. Made a special house call today on the Full Count Show. Guys, after the show, go follow Dr. Chuck. You're going to follow him to the back. Adjust those volumes. I'm ready. I'm revved up. Dr. Chuck gave me some Viagra. I didn't even take it. Every NBA season, I vie for the top spot, and that has been the way it's gone for 17 documented NBA seasons. Every pro basketball campaign, I either reign supreme or I'm in the top few. Don't believe me? Go check out my past numbers. This season will be no different. Guys, right after the show, I already got them written up, ready to rock. Not 1, but 2 big winners tomorrow night's games. I'm going to tell you right now, I have never, ever, I went back 17 years, dropped a season tip-off play. Last year, I started this season 3-0, 6-1, 15-4. I killed it. I never looked back. Get my 7-day NBA discount right now, $49. I don't care if you bet $5 or $5,000 a game. I'm going to make you money this week. You'll come back for more NBA from Joey D. After this show, my 58-19-2 Vegas Insider move and my slam dunk, which went 75% last season. I'm not going to leave you there. Guys, the king of Monday Night Football, and I am the king of Monday Night Football tonight. Broncos Chargers. I put it up. It's $9 Mondays. Normally, this game would go for at least $35-40. That's up. I threw that paper. Now, let's get into my free play for tonight. Guys, just like my wedding night, I'm going to be very quick, but extremely potent. 22 years later, she's still with me. Guys, very quickly, Philadelphia, San Diego, what can I say? Their statistics on the season, very, very similar. They both score about the same. They both give up about the same. Both teams shocked the baseball world by beating on paper teams that were heavily favored over them in the last round. But the last round is in the rear view. Who gives a damn? Both got here so far because they're good teams. That's all I have to say about that. What separates this series, in my opinion, is the fact that the first 2 games are being played where? In San Diego. The Phillies aren't the greatest road team. They really aren't, guys. While San Diego is good at home, they're also good on the road. I think that's going to play a major factor in the series as well. They're a little bit better at home than Philly is on the road, and San Diego's pretty darn good when they travel as well. Both teams do deserve to be here. However, I think the fact that San Diego plays the first 2 games at home and is a little stronger on the road is going to be big. Throw into the mix that Philly is just 1-5 the last 6 versus the NL West, while San Diego's 4-1 the last 5 versus the NL East. Further prompts me to side with San Diego in this series, minus $1.25. Remember, guys, I don't like laying wood in the long term, but you don't pay juice on the winner. That's gone too. Let's bring back our crew. And by the way, our good buddy Chris, the producer, I'm about ready to sing Olivia Newton-John's Physical. He's back there doing aerobics. He's killing me. He's so cute. Real quick, it was a quick show today. Jesse Schule, closing thoughts or comments for everybody.
Go Yankees.
Jesse, I know that you hate the Yankees with all your heart, so you know they're going to win tonight. I love you. Dr. Chuck, take it away.
I just threw up my mouth a little bit there. So.
Any closing thoughts or comments for our viewers, please?
To you, Joe. No, I would hate for the Yankees to lose for your sake, and then I'd hate for the Guardians to lose for Jeff's sake, and Jesse just said go Yankees. So, well, I assume that I'm going to try and be over for the steak dinner that you now owe him. I guess.
There you go. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what, I'll double it up on tonight. He can come over. I'll cook a feast. It doesn't matter. Sports fans, we had a great show today. Obviously, we like to have a good time, but when you're around the best in the business, giving out some great content, guys, I can't but laugh. So knowing this, and I will say this one more time, you're only the best when you go up and face the best. Okay? Plain and simple. And the best collection of cappers anywhere on the planet are right here at Sports Memo. Sports fans, be sure to tune into every one of Sports Memo TV's amazing content. Also, go to Sports Memo after the show. Take advantage of those great customer appreciation discounts. We got the best in the business. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You don't want to miss any of our amazing content. Guys, we're going to say sayonara. This is Joe D'Amico on behalf of Sports Memo, Jesse, Dr. Chuck. Guys, good luck and have a winning day.